Good evening and a warm welcome to Top Billing. Whilst it's open to debate whether a butterfly flapping its wings here could cause a hurricane halfway around the world, tonight's unique location in Bloem has a remarkable butterfly roof, which certainly questions traditional building.
On a Free State farm, you might expect a bungalow-shaped house with an old stoep or traditional Cape Dutch. With this property, however, architect Jan Smit has built a two-bedroom home that defies the extreme regional temperatures. He's managed to create a remarkably temperate indoor climate. It's all in the roof, you see.
I believe, and it's incredible, but I believe this was once a barn.
Yes, it is a very typical agricultural barn with steel structure and a pitched roof, which we changed around into a house, and then we kept the floor plan the same, the footprint of the building, and added some sculptural elements on the side and with sandstone. And that's then contrasted a little bit with more sleek elements like steel, the glass. So it's a contemporary version of an agricultural setup.
But obviously the corrugated iron, what would a Free State house be without corrugated iron?
Jan and Petria run an award-winning architectural practice that focuses on interpreting landscape and climate in their designs.
It does quite a few things for us. It lets in northern light into the building from a very high angle, specifically for the winter. It also creates a wonderful connection with the landscape, and it creates quite a beautiful space on the inside.
Imagine one butterfly wing of the roof extending over the larger living spaces and another smaller wing covering the back and utility areas. When you're inside, you immediately appreciate the concept of light versus volume. Custom-designed fixtures give the interior a calm, practical framework for art and furniture.
One way of creating the illusion of space was by giving it much bigger volume. Another mechanism to keep the space open is that the wall between the living area and the bedroom and bathroom is not going up right through to the ceiling of the interior space. It's actually acts as a dividing element rather than a wall.
White linen on a brass bed is a strong visual reference to life on a farm from another era. But the clean, unfussy setting brings it directly into the present. The modern translation of an African vernacular turns keepsakes into talking points. The owners are avid world explorers. A more tightly disciplined traveller might leave large and fragile artwork behind, but these ardent collectors simply made a plan.
And I'm loving your interiors. It seems every piece has its own story.
Yes, Nico, we find stuff all over the world. Like the painting here at the back we find in Thailand. We couldn't bring it like this, so we took it off the frame, rolled it up and brought it as hand luggage.
They bought these chairs in China. Their many precious objects have come into their own in their new space.
The cupboard we found on a railway auction. I just took the doors off and turned it on its side so we can put all our collectibles in there.
As you look around, your eye settles and then takes flight, only to find another focus. Perhaps the butterfly effect has found a new application. While the decor is colourful and intriguing, the discipline of the interior finishes makes it work. Money was an object of concern, but if you're a resourceful architect, you turn limited cash into creative solutions.
We had a very small budget. So we had to do things like not put carpets or tiles on the floors. Instead of wallpaper, we painted stripes on the wall. The rest of the walls we put on stucco. Initially it's expensive, but you never have to repaint that wall again. So that saves you a lot of money.
A gas hob makes for instant and economic design. The kitchen's practical, but far from sparse.
We used superwood and we just painted them. The cement we just left like it was, and we just put a layer of varnish on top of them.
A very rough, earthy feel. I like it.
Remember that this was once a farm. Today it's more a market garden that sustains the house. Henning's pride is his greenhouse, but it's not your average bean and tomato incubator. His veggies are exotic, and his indigenous flowers well-travelled.
We also grow some things just because it's beautiful or it's edible. So we've got some Chinese vegetables here, which are really beautiful and really nice to eat.
And what are these little guys?
These are called Scodoxus multiflorus. It's a rare South African plant, indigenous to South Africa. But the funny thing is that we found it in Thailand, of all places. And I asked a friend to send me a few, and when I went to the airport to collect them, he sent me 2 tons of bulbs. It doesn't need too much sun, so you can put it in a shady spot in the garden. Don't plant it too deep under the soil, and it should be fine.
Now, how is it that a plant that's indigenous to South Africa is very rare here?
I think what happened is that South African people didn't appreciate indigenous plants for quite a few years, and all of a sudden, with the droughts that's coming on and global warming, I think people want to plant indigenous because it just makes more sense, it's water-wise.
Well, I've got to say I love rare things like my wife and top billing, and I can't wait to take this and plant this in my little garden at home.
Good.
Yeah.
The plants that don't live in the controlled environment have grown strong out of the struggle. That's life in the Free State for you. As for the structure, it works on the land because it too shares homegrown credentials.
The way that you use your materials, your design, the modulation of the building should be something that has to do with that specific landscape, with that specific part of the world that you are working in.
There's no getting away from the extreme temperatures, but Henning has a plan for all seasons.
What is it that you like the most about your home?
Nico, what I really love the most is the coal stove during the cold winters we've got in the Free State. So we would open a bottle of wine, sit in front of the coal stove for hours. It's really magical. And then, of course, all the natural light that comes in through these big windows, and looking at the stars at night, seeing the moon rise, that's the little things that makes this home special.
Quiet evenings, the singing of cicadas in summer, the creak of the roof as it cools after the heat of the day. The house offers the best of rural life, a productive tract of land, a peaceful retreat, and all the benefits of contemporary design.